What's up guys, welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks. I'm your host Caleb. Special shout out to my high contributing patrons, Newsom, you rock. Now let's get into today's Deck Tech with Rebecca and Silas Renn. And guys, I named this deck You Can't Touch Me because honestly, that's what this deck does. The fact that Rebecca protects our entire board is insane, especially when we are running a couple ways to turn her into an artifact herself. So we're just going to generate a ton of value with artifacts that need to be removed ASAP, or you just run away with the game. The only problem is you can't remove our artifacts unless you board wipe. So we're creating a board wipe or bust scenario for our opponents, which is not somewhere you want to be at all, especially when people don't run a ton of artifact removal. People are really worried about those creatures. So we're going to abuse that today with this deck. Now, some of the artifacts of note, we are running the Bolas's Citadel combo. So the fact that we can use Bolas's Citadel, Sensei's Divining Top, and Aetherflux Reservoir to go ahead and win the game with Infinite Storm and Life is going to be insane. Notably, if any of these pieces hit the board, you're going to want to remove them right away. The only problem is, again, those pieces are going to have protection, so it's going to be board wipe or bust. Like I said, pretty busted. Another thing we're going to be running is obviously the One Ring. Pretty busted here, especially when we are running a lot of untapping shenanigans. The only problem is we can't target our own things because they will have protection. So we're going to be running Unwinding Clock effects instead. I don't know if you've ever gotten Unwinding Clock and the One Ring on the battlefield at the same time, but you probably just win that game. No deck would be complete without its Timmy Wincon with threefold Thunderhulk and Steel Overseer. This is going to net us a ton of 1/1 counters, especially if we have the Unwinding Clock on our battlefield. Another thing we can easily do as well is just slam that Ruthless Technomancer, and then right afterwards we've got our blue Craterhoof Behemoth to end out the game. So if that sounds like a deck tech you want to get into, let's get into it. Let's get into the bread and butter of this deck by talking about the tapping synergies. Urza Powerstone Prodigy is amazing. Not only is it going to give us ramp, but additionally it's going to give us card advantage. I know it is a loot effect, but loot effects in this deck are amazing since our commander will just allow us to cast those cards that we discard from the graveyard. 9 times out of 10, again, we're discarding an artifact with this guy. Shirakai Genesis Engine, another card that not only generates a ton of card advantage, but again, a board state. This guy with an Unwinding Clock effect will have you looking at 8 cards a rotation, which is actually insane. The Great Doors in the deck, just as a solid loot effects. Loot effects, again, very powerful in this deck. The One Ring, I don't think I have to tell you how busted this is, especially when you get something like an Unwinding Clock on the battlefield. Jace's Archivist will just win you the game with the right pieces, especially if you have Smothering Tithe and you're able to turn Jace's Archivist into an artifact. You can wheel on everybody's turn and generate a ton of treasure tokens. From then, all you have to do is find your blue Craterhoof Behemoth and you've won the game. The Pandorica kind of looks like a non-bow at first until you realize whenever it untaps, the thing will phase out, and then you can phase out the active player's commander. So you can screw over every player on their turn equally, fair and balanced. Steel Overseer is in the deck. This is just going to make our board insanely massive. Lita will only give us 1 untap effect, but hey, we'll take that. Additionally, she can create some massive vehicles. Unwinding Clock and then Drum Bellower will untap all of our creatures and or artifacts, which is going to be solid for helping out this strategy. Unctus is also going to be cool. Not only can he turn our non-artifact creatures into artifacts, which is really good with our commander, because now whenever someone tries to target Rebbec, we're just going to turn her into an artifact and boom, she's got that protection. Threefold Thunderhulk. Now this one's in this category just because you're probably untapping your mana rocks, and this will make it to where you can activate his ability very easily on everybody's turn. Walking Ballista, kind of the same thing. We're going to be untapping a ton of artifacts, getting access to a ton of mana on our opponent's turns, so we can easily activate his ability. Last but not least, we have Agatha Soul Cauldron, so we can get all of these good activated abilities from the graveyard as long as our creatures have counters on them. Let's get into the combos for a second. We have Urza Lord Protector, the Reality Chip, and Sensei's Divining Top. What this is going to do is it's going to make the top free. So now you can cast it for free using the Reality Chip from the top of your library. Now you can draw your whole entire deck. Next combo we have is Sensei's Divining Top, Aetherflux Reservoir, and Bolas's Citadel. Again, we can put the top on top, cast it using Bolas's Citadel, and gain life with Aetherflux Reservoir. This will net us infinite life, infinite storm, and we can machine gun everybody down with Aetherflux Reservoir. Now, notably, why I chose these two combos is because all of the pieces are useful in the deck without anything else. Another kind of combo that wins the game that I thought I'd go over, kind of convoluted, but we have Bolas's Citadel, Unwinding Clock with Jace's Archivist, and Smothering Tithe. Now, Jace's Archivist does have to be an artifact for this to work, but essentially what you're doing is you're generating a ton of treasure tokens with Jace's Archivist and Smothering Tithe, and then activating Bolas's tapped ability, which no one knows existed. I didn't know it existed, to drain everybody for 10 on each upkeep, and that's going to get 40 damage over the course of a rotation and kill everybody. Last but not least, I'd like to point out one of the most broken cards in the deck, Oswald Fiddlebender. If you want to lower the power level of this deck, cut this guy. If you want to up the power level of the deck, add more tutors to find this guy. He gets you into your combo piece so fast. He can easily find you that Bolas's Citadel, easily find you the Sensei's Divining Top, and then from there, once you have the Aetherflux Reservoir, you are ready to go. Once he hits the battlefield, you will put the game on a 3-turn clock, if not a 2-turn clock, because Bolas's Citadel can just kind of get you there sometimes. Biotransference is amazing in the deck. Just be careful not to kill yourself. You're really going to want Aetherflux Reservoir on the battlefield before you go off with this, but it's going to generate a massive board state while turning all of our creatures into artifacts. Encroaching Mycosynth turns all of our non-land permanents into artifacts, so again, everything will have that protection. Liquid Metal Torque is also going to turn our other commander into an artifact, so people can't target her as easily. Transmogrant is also pretty solid here because it makes it an artifact permanently, so all you have to do is sacrifice this and boom, Rebbec will always be an artifact. Imhotep the Stormlord is really solid if we need to go for that grindy game. We're reanimating a lot of value from our graveyard, and while we're doing that, we're creating a massive board state. Enrarkar the Traveler, I like searching for this whenever I go for the Bolas's Citadel combo, because what you can do is you can sacrifice your Aetherflux Reservoir to grab Enarkir, reanimate the Aetherflux with Enarkir next turn, and then sacrifice Enarkir for the instant Bolas's Citadel. And then from there, assuming you have Sensei's Divining Top, you just go off. Imri, Lurker of the Loch, solid way to cast our artifacts from the graveyard. Iron Soul Enforcer, another solid way to cheat those very expensive artifact creatures into play. Ruthless Technomancer can easily sacrifice something like a Karn and generate a ton of treasure tokens, and then again, just slap that blue Craterhoof Behemoth on the battlefield the next turn and win the game. Cyberdrive Awakener, again, this is my blue Craterhoof Behemoth, and it does the thing pretty efficiently. Brilliant Restoration, if they do board wipe, because this deck is, again, board wipe or bust, we can use Brilliant Restoration to throw our entire board back onto the battlefield. Notably, with Encroaching Mycosynth, this just gets that much better. Arcane Denial, Swansong, and An Offer You Can't Refuse are counterspells of choice. We are also running Glenalendra Archmage. This girl's extremely busted if we can turn her into an artifact and use Steel Overseer to get rid of that negative counter. This will allow us to counter something on everybody's turn. Pretty busted. Additionally, we can just use Agatha's Soul Cauldron to exile her and then turn all of our tokens or all of our creatures with 1/1 counters on them into counterspells. Not okay. Swords to Plowshare, solid removal, Their Name is Death, and Organic Extinction are one-sided board wipes. With a board wipe or bust deck, you really want to be running one-sided board wipes so you don't kill your own strategy. Moving on to ramp, we have more cost reducers with Ethereum Sculptor and Foundry Inspector. We are also running Karn Legacy Reforged. Not only does he get massive, but he adds a ton of mana to our mana pool. Krark Clan Ironworks, solid for a sack outlet to get rid of some of our artifacts. We don't want to die to the One Ring by accident, right? And then additionally, with Imri, we can cast the One Ring from our graveyard and get protection again. So we could potentially get protection every turn indefinitely with Imri and the One Ring with Krark Clan Ironworks. Just something to think about. From there, it's super simple. We're running Soul Ring and the Signets and Talismans. Moving on to card advantage, we have Esper Sentinel. Normally I stay away from this guy, but a Esper Sentinel with protection was too hard to pass up. Riddlesmith, solid card advantage. Again, I consider these effects card advantage in this deck since our commander is so efficient at getting them back from the graveyard. Marnia's Calgar, every time we're generating a token, now we're just going to draw a card. Biden of Thassa is in the deck because we do have a potential to go very wide. Vidalcan Archmage, just draw a card whenever you cast an artifact spell. Alhamrit's Archive is just going to double up on all our card advantage. The Immortal Sun, another cost reducer that additionally gets us some card advantage. And is going to buff all of our creatures up. Windfall and Dark Deal just solid for getting us there, especially late game whenever we have something like a Bolus of Citadel and a Sensei's Divining Top. Sometimes we're just looking for that last piece, and when you have 20 cards in hand, discard 20 cards, draw 20 cards, you're probably going to find that Aetherflux Reservoir you so desperately need. Black Market Connections is so good, I can't stop myself from putting it in decks. If you guys spring for one expensive card draw piece, Black Market Connections is the way. You're not only going to get card advantage, you're going to get mana, and additionally you can get a body to block those massive creatures. The Mightstone and Weakstone, card advantage, removal, a little bit of ramp, does everything we need, and then it can make that broken Urza Planeswalker. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get right into that playtest. Let's go ahead and mull this. Kind of slow. We do have Urza, but I don't know. Land? Okay, we do have a land. All right. 2 or more basics. We don't. So let's draw a card. Land? Yes. Shock it in. Soul Ring, Talisman, The Dream. Next turn, we go to Island, and then we can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can we just run out Karn here? We can. Do we though? The One Ring seems kind of good. Yeah, let's run out the One Ring. Draw a card off the One Ring. Add a counter. Go to our next turn. Play a land. Run out Oswald. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 mana? Let's draw 2 more cards. 1, 2. We got open mana. I don't want to windfall with Karn in hand. Yeah, we will just play our commander here. We can do that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's play Rebecca, just so we don't lose our One Ring to an exile effect. Next turn. Sorry, there's 2 counters on that. And then we'll play Karn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we got there. Karn. Sack Karn to Oswald to grab Bolus's Citadel. Look at the top card. 4 life. We can do that. Especially on turn 4. Okay, that's a land. We're going to activate the One Ring to draw 3 cards. And Rarkar would be dope. Okay. Another land. So we got stopped. That's okay. What do we want to do here? No open mana. We go to turn 5. Play here. Now, I think we windfall. When Archer attacks, you may cast. We could reanimate that. Yeah, let's windfall. See what we get. Windfall for 7. We will draw 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're honestly looking for something that can kind of create an artifact token. Or this can create an artifact token. And it's for CMC. Ooh. Okay. Can't activate it this turn. I'm just looking for our combo pieces. So let's draw 4 cards. Top. There's top. Okay, so we'll play top. That'll do the Bolus's Citadel thing. So we will Bolus's Citadel. 3 life. Look at the top here. 5 life. We're just looking for... So we can play this, but then we don't have the white mana to activate it. So we just need a white mana source. Alright. And we're stopped there. But we can put the top on top. So the way Bolus's Citadel and Sensei's Divining Top is, you draw the card, put the top on top, cast the top for 1 life. So we can essentially draw 24 cards deep right now. So let's draw a card, 2 life. Actually, let's cast this with 2 life, because we are looking for a mana source. We need a white one, though. Draw a card for a life. Draw a card for a life. Draw a card for a life. There it is. Okay. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2 for the talisman. Now we can tap all 3 of the talismans, floating 2 white, which is all we care about. Because we got soaring, 1, 2, talisman, 3, 4, 5 mana floating, 2 whites in that. We cast Lita, which is an artifact creature, sack Lita, and then we will go find our, where are you? Aetherflux Reservoir. And now how this works is you put the top on top, you cast the top for 1 life, but you also gain 1 life, and then the storm kind of does the storm thing, and you gain 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, get infinite life with the bullet or with the Aetherflux Reservoir, and machine gun everybody down. Now, that was kind of a cracked hand. We drew into Oswald super fast, or he was in our opener, and we had the 1 ring. So turn 5's not going to be the normal, but this deck can pull off turn 5, and honestly, Oswald is the main culprit. If you wanted to power down this deck, taking Oswald out is very solid. If you wanted to power up this deck, putting more tutors in to find Oswald or your key pieces is also a solid option. So if you find out the deck's too slow for you, add more tutors. If you find out the deck's just too good, take out Oswald and it should fix that problem. With that being said, guys, even this one, like the 1 ring, Bolas's Citadel, 3 lands. Yeah, you keep that too. Anyway, that's all the time we got for today though, but thank you for watching. I'm really happy you guys made it this far if you did. As always, I would like to thank my high contributing patrons, Newsome, Chicken Salad, Excessum, Praetor. You guys are amazing. Really keep the channel going. And yes, if you want to join me on the weekly voted patron deck tech, yes, you can also join the Patreon in the description down below if you want to do that. Super solid. As always, I hope this helped you in your deck building endeavors, and I will see you in the next one.